Maximum warp.
Hello. Happy Thursday. How's it going, Commando Apollo? Remus, Maximum Warp. Good to see you. Diginanigans. How's it going, everyone? I'm eating an apple. In Dave news, I've got an apple for lunch here. It's pretty good. Would recommend. Hey, Rihanna Journey. Hey, Arneo. Welcome. Any newcomers checking out the VODs? Welcome to Digital Iliad, episode 330. We're making an FTL-like. And an FTL Lite, even. And we're doing all right. We're trying to transition from mostly systems and tools development into something a little tighter, into some more content. I spent last night, well, here's the reality. What I was supposed to do last night was figure out all the Git submodule stuff I'm going to need for separating out some of these projects while still being able to depend on a common set of code. It actually looks like it's going to work pretty well. Whether we're talking about this project and the Lo-Fi Flyby, which are in C#, or my game jams, which are not, I think we'll actually have a pretty good solution thanks to Git submodules. I still have to get all that figured out, so we're kind of just working in one project, but that's fine because we have plenty of technical problems to address still. So that was what I was supposed to be doing. In reality, what I actually did was like draw for like a while, and then eventually kind of got around to reading some of it. I worked on Jonesy the cat for a bit. Hey, Commander Apollo's on a 7-stream streak. It ain't much, but it's honest work. I appreciate that. Thank you, Apollo. Appreciate you being here. So, this is Jonesy, our little cat. I've worked on some different... I've been refining their look. So, like, this is their new seated look. I think the silhouette is improving. I think these are all reasonable. There's nothing in motion. All I've got are, like, sit, stand, lie. With some tail swishes for character. I think it's kind of fun. You prefer how it looks now? Good. Good. Yeah. I've been also working on some new outfits for Ripley. Of various kinds. I've decided with the black hair and everything, I really felt like giving her Counselor Troy colors for some reason for her top. And I worked on a few of these of varying degrees. I like some of these. I like this striped shirt, especially. I also worked on like a crop top, which I feel like does more for gender recognition than anything else I've done so far. I like the ambiguity of this character, the way it's drawn. I don't have a problem with that. I just know that this kind of a game is all about variety of aesthetics. So, like, I'll need to do some additional hairstyles, too. But, like, I'm just thinking about what matters for our initial character. I should probably work on some new poses that aren't just the stock pose that I've used so far for everyone in Idle. But, yeah, I'm pleased with the direction we're going in with all of these. This is something I like to work on kind of off-stream. Because it's usually just me staring at a canvas and then trying a pixel and then trying a different pixel. But this is the direction we want to move in, which is working on content, defining some art stuff. I want to do a lot more around music. Animation looks cute. Thanks, Nanigans. You've been procrastinating working on the next problems on your game by playing around with different ways of getting a stylized pixel art effect. Ooh, cool. Very cool. Yeah, we have plenty of programming tasks to do, which is what we're going to kind of work on today. We did some stuff yesterday in response to just how badly our presentation fell apart when we got rated. I put things back on the background thread so that things are more responsive, if a little inconsistent. So we have good... I need to start doing different demonstrations than the only demonstration I ever do, which is this exact gray box. We really need to get save and load so I can just load these things and we can start making more complex stuff to demo. We have a short list of programming features to really get through. Although there is some auto tiling issues that I'd like to work on today around the corners. But I feel like I need to have a new textured sheet, because right now all of the texturing here is flat, and I feel like it's making it hard to evaluate how the corners actually look in a real-world situation. So I think I need to do something like that. Feeling a little allergic today. I should probably go take my allergy meds. I feel like I'm on the edge of a sneeze. I'm gonna go do that. BRB. Chair stream. Give it up for chair. Commander Apollo. Nanigans doesn't know you can use pygame.transform.pixelate. Yeah, I don't think Nanigans is in Pygame. Hey, Sapphire. How's it going? Cool music. Yeah, this is our intro music. I forgot to change it, as usual. But I like it. Happy as a King by the Edmund Vera Orchestra. But yeah, so this all works pretty well. You see the failed scroll, which we were able to make the scroll guaranteed. But the problem was we just moved the problem. We shifted the problem somewhere else, so like the scroll wouldn't always register at the input level, but it would always succeed once registered. And I was like, that doesn't seem better. So yeah, you can see some of the auto tiling weirdness. Only in certain circumstances, which is neat. Yeah. I haven't totally sorted out what I want to do with the corners. Because if they're textured, you need the texturing to look right. So I'm probably going to set up a practice set that actually has textured corners so you can kind of see more than just the little dot outlines, what it looks like when the auto tiler handles corner cases. Because yeah, in these cases where the wall is like very close, it's doing some weird things. It's doing it asymmetrically, which is strange. I also want to fix this. You can walk into the wall if you do it very carefully. I want to fix that. I want to look into this. Maybe I would look into this first because I don't like this. You can like get the cursor into the wall at any junction and it breaks the cutaway. It makes it think that you're not in the ship at all, and the compartment-based cutaways just stop working. Spend a few minutes working on that. I don't know if it matters that much. It's on the list of things where I'm like, is Lo-Fi Flyby going to even really have a dynamic cutaway, or is it going to be static based on the construction of the ship? In which case, it'll be a mask that you, like, paint in. Sapphire, you're just great at pulling those Twitch clips. Yeah, Chair has never added bugs to the code. Chair is kind of the best. Welcome to the Twitch side, Nanigans. I see that you're getting the FOMO. You're getting the chat. You're getting the chat FOMO. Maximum Warp Nojul. Shout out to Nojul here. Showcasing their super cool. They're super cool new. This looks so good. Inspired by a Bin Bun 3D thing. You made pixel portals. And you made the shaders free. CCO 0. Or CCO. CCO. It's great. CC 0. Love this. This is such a cool look. Sapphire, you saw that on Reddit? Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Taking advantage of the new stencil buffer stuff, are you? To do some of the portal work? Or is this kind of your own approach? This is all super cool. If only we made 3D games here. I like these ones where like the background is like, well, I don't actually know how to express that, but I really like the different options here. Ooh, the ones that kind of undulate are really neat. What's the shortest distance between 2 points? This is my Event Horizon joke. There's a correct answer. Yeah, this looks so slick. Haha, they are stencils. Got the idea from another creator who did portals in non-pixel art style. It's linked under inspiration. Ooh. Portal VFX by Bin Bun. Ooh, yeah, this is slick. Man, you can do cool stuff with Godot. No shortage of cool things in Godot. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Oh, wow, everyone saw this on Reddit. Wow. Hey, Nix. Okay, yeah. I have to pass along all the messages to Nanigans. Hey, Retro Engine. Bonsai Tree is addictive? You can't stop playing it? That's crazy. That is crazy. It's not even a game, but that makes me feel real good. If you have any creations that you screenshotted that you really like, I wish I had some kind of save system in there. I would love to see them in the Discord. But that's very nice to say, Retro Engine. I have not really shared that game widely out with anyone, because it's not really a game. It's more of just a tool. Sandboxes are addictive. If you find sandboxes are addictive, I feel like that's a sign that like you're the personality type that's like intrinsically motivated to play a game. Which is strong. That's the strongest motivation to play a game, right? Is when it comes from within. A lot of people need a gamified structure. They need to be given points or like an objective or like whatever. And like, that's fickle, right? But the people who are like, I like playing this. I see goals. I create goals in my own mind. That's like so strong. I have a friend who's really, really like that. Not me though. I'm like a loser. I'm like, I need like progression systems and like clear goals established for me. Maybe that's because I don't have a lot of time. Maybe if I had more time, I'd be more of a sandbox player. Although game dev is kind of like the ultimate sandbox game, right? Making a game. What am I doing here? What I want to do is figure out this cursor mapping bug. So I think... You know what? I actually have an idea about what's happening here. Let me see if I can minimize it. Really appreciate that, Retro Endin. Bonsai Tree DLC that has a screenshot tool that directly shares to the Discord. That would be cool too. That would be cool too. That would involve networking, which I would literally never do, but... I mean, I know it would be pretty simple. Here's my theory, is that this cursor mapping bug only happens at the bottommost level and can't happen at higher levels. I want to test that real quick. If that's true, I understand the problem. I don't understand the solution, but at least I'll understand the problem, and you know, that's the first point. I'm actually going to use the same wall structure here for multiple layers because I want to see what the auto tiler does. You know I like my asymmetrical wall placement, but wow. I need Nanigans had such a good idea, which was like, we need like coyote time for the control key. Because what's happening a lot is that I lift the control key slightly before I lift the command to place the blocks or whatever. I need to add a coyote time that adds some like tolerance. So you have like a little bit of time. Well, I've been left with this kind of window. I'm gonna keep it because it's kind of cool. Rhiannon, you're maybe 60-40. You need a goal, but once you get into the game, you go wild at the sandbox. Like, you came to Subnautica for the vibes and stayed to build bases. Oh, my initial playthrough with Subnautica, I built like 3 different bases in these really interesting different biomes that I thought would have like different resources and stuff. I eventually learned that you can just build like 1 base in the game and that would have been fine. And that made me a little sad, but yeah, I definitely went with that. But like I had a counter example and I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh yeah, like I love Factorio because there's this structure. There's like, not only are there goals, but there's like a force that opposes you. In a game like what's the 3D one? Satisfactory. Like Satisfactory didn't get me. And I think a lot of what it was that didn't draw me into Satisfactory was the fact that there were no forces acting against me, really. Like there was no opposition to my action. And so I just felt like I was just messing around. So I don't know. Motivation in games is like a really complicated subject, but it's really interesting. You have some people in chat who deal with APIs all the time. Not me. Not me. All right, so here's my theory. So we can do this weird like step into the wall thing if we're very careful and we do it exactly at a junction, at either a 3-wall or a 4-wall junction. Kind of hard to do at the edge of the screen, but I feel like it's doable. Yeah, I did it. And I think I know what's happening. But I also think it can only happen at the bottom floor. Like, I don't think I can do it here. Oh, that does an interesting thing. So if I walk into this wall, it takes me down to a lower level. Interesting. Okay, so it has there's a similar problem here. So it does express itself at higher levels. It just expresses itself differently. And what's happening is that the cursor mapping, the raycast is like unable to find a block that's exposed at a specific coordinate in its line. Like along its line, it's like, oh, there aren't any exposed blocks up here. So let me go to the next one down, which is why you're seeing us jump down to the floor below. But if you're already on the ground floor, there's nowhere to go really. So it just puts us on, puts it to the lowest level. Can I get it to trigger? Yeah, like this. It brings it down to the lowest level, which freaks the system out. Okay, so it's the same problem and it's expressing itself 2 different ways. How are we going to deal with that? We might actually co-work for once. Nice, nice. Been lazy on the project for a while. That sounds good. How's everyone else doing? Out here on the West Coast, we're in a bit of a heat wave, which doesn't really affect me because I live like on the coast in San Francisco here. So hot for us is like still laughable. But hope everyone's staying cool. If you're, you know, still experiencing winter weather, I hope you're still staying warm. I'm gonna eat some more apples, don't mind me. Thanks for the reminder, Rhiannon. So what's happening, I think, is 2 different things are happening. If we're already at the bottom of the buildable area, the cursor block hit list count is 0. And so it's reverting to this, just a straight, give me the block at the bottom of the, give me the lowest block you can give me. Well, actually, it shouldn't be changing the cursor Z level. Oh, it's not. Okay. Thank you for the follow, Retro Engine. I really appreciate that. Oh, is this your first time over on Twitch? I feel like you're usually on YouTube. A lot of migration from YouTube to Twitch today, which is cool. We got to build back up our Twitch viewership. I feel like I've been doing a bad job creating good content for YouTube. But I think that'll improve as we get more game content done and we get more atmosphere. And we get more, you know, we just get more of the game that we want to make in place, and you can see it, and there's more visual content, and it's less just me yapping about system design and random stuff. Sure is. You jumped over. About 2 people on there. Yeah, YouTube is all over the place. YouTube actually was able to tell about halfway through the game jam a couple weekends ago that I was doing something different than what I normally do. Oh my glob. Retro Engine subscribing with Prime. Thank you for beaming up. Thank you for beaming up the Starship here. But yeah, YouTube, if it realizes you're doing something different than you normally do, it just stops showing your video to people. And then I took a week off and it doesn't like that. And I found the algorithm is quite difficult to please. And the content I've been making is maybe not as good as it sometimes is. So yeah, we'll build that back up. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out here on Twitch with me. I have no favorites. I'm like Jessica Walters. I'm like, I love all my viewers, but I don't care for Job. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, please be sure to spend your Bezos bucks. You're very unmotivated today, Commander. Not sure what to work on. That's fine. You know, you need some... I actually think one of the most important things for design is like unstructured time. Like a lot of the best decisions I've made about a game have been when I've kind of just not been working on it, but just kind of staring at it and like mulling it over. It's like the shower thoughts, but like you can create that without necessarily having to go take a shower, right? You just need to create unstructured time. You can't always have to-do lists. You can't always have deadlines. Sometimes you have to just be open-ended about it. You just have to be like, you just have to confront the thing you're working on, but doing it in like a, I don't know how to say it. It's like when you're painting, and if you've been painting too long, they tell you to like step like a few feet back and like squint your eyes, like to try to just get like a different perspective on it and try to evaluate it more holistically than maybe the like close-up view you've taken of it. Or like writers will do that too. They'll like be writing something and then they'll like put it in a drawer for like a week and then they'll take it out and they'll read it or something. I think that those activities are like super important. Calendar time is important. Instructions unclear. I put my computer in the shower. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Do something completely different. Different synapse, then return to it. Yeah. Yeah, get your brain into a different configuration and then come back to it. All right, so that's one case, which is we actually pre-screen a lot of these blocks. Although the hit list itself, actually the hit list shouldn't be empty, just the cut list. Oh, but we get into here. We say like the hit list count is greater than 0. There's no scroll, or, well, maybe there's no scroll. There's no scroll. Then if the cut list is greater than this, we do this. Else, we grab the raw coordinate. This maybe needs to change. And then when this happens at a higher level, it's just we're not screening the block correctly. Or we are screening the block and it's creating the situation where we like try to get in between the wall. It doesn't work. I need to fix that. I need to look at it for another minute. Commander, you feel like you're at a point where you need to quote-unquote lock in, as it were? Okay, so the opposite problem. You haven't finished a game in over a year and it's starting to get to you. I know, I get that. So you need the opposite thing. You need a list of like, here are the things that I need to do to consider this done, and then just like lock in and do it. That's fine too. I think alternating between those modes is good. Like, I'm trying to enter... With Lo-Fi Flyby, I'm trying to enter more of a deadline, more of like a focused development phase as well. I really need that coyote time. Or even just a Control Z. I think we really need a Control Z. We need to start working on a stack that I can manipulate for when the input fails or I do something stupid here. We still have lots of things to work on. But I also really want to get into a different mode where I'm more focused and trying to finish something. All right, this is going to be our minimum recreate, our minimum reproducible layout here for this specific bug. It's arguably 2 bugs, but I think of it as 1. It's a failure of the cursor mapping system to understand what's happening when the cursor is at a junction in the walls. And you know, I think we could figure something out for this, I hope. So if we do it here, it's going to drop the cursor down to a lower level. Yeah. Because it's like, what's the first block that has an exposed face? And it's not that junction, so it's one of these blocks back here behind. So that's a problem. And then if I do the same thing down here, it just takes me to the floor. A little trickier to trigger. Yeah, it just brings me to the floor. And now I'm stuck in between walls, and the system is like, what are we doing? That shouldn't be allowed to happen. Maybe we need to just defer to a block in front. We need some kind of sophistication to prevent this. I'm less concerned about that version of it. Well, I guess this version is actually the more disturbing version. What happens here where we like mouse into this junction and it drops us down a floor. That's also really kind of confusing. So I definitely want to think about that. Nanigans, your method of writing is to build out everything in point form, starting with the broadest details. Hey, Nightska. It's been a minute. How are you doing? Problems aside is looking great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've definitely refined this cutaway tool and the selection a lot. I think it's pretty much done. There's just a few bugs, and one of the bugs is this. Like, you shouldn't be able to get stuck in between the walls, but there's this one case where you do, where you get stuck in a junction. So what behavior do I want when that happens? Do I want it to jump in front? Probably. Or do I want it to stay back behind in this room? The only thing I don't want to happen is have it drop down. Nanigans, Start with the right. Then you just go deeper with sublists of points to get more and more detail. Then when you actually feel like writing, you dig into one of those points and turn it into sentences. Yeah, I don't do a lot of writing. But yeah, I am not an outliner either, Commander Apollo. I think I like writing in like short form, but like complete sequences. I don't know. I'm like a stream of consciousness writer, I guess. Not a structured writer. Rhiannon, the main way you lock in is panic for a deadline coming up. It's not very sustainable. That's what I want to start doing. I'm setting some deadlines for us around the plan, the game plan. Because the game plan is to make a Steam page, a game trailer, and a demo. Calling it the vertical slice here. Don't worry about that. Same thing in my mind. And yeah, we're about at the end of Q1. So I would really love to have a Steam page up by the end of Q2, a game trailer by the end of Q3, and a demo by the end of Q4. For Lo-Fi Flyby, not for the main game. Tighten up the scope, try to get something in place, even if it's... The nice thing is the Steam page and the game trailer can be based on mock-ups, like it can be faked. Demo obviously can't be faked. Some of the systems could be relatively faked. But, yeah. We're going to try some deadline-based development. Deadline-driven development, D3. D-cubed, DDD. We're going to try that. So that we're going to attempt to break ourselves out of this kind of open-ended systems-driven development that I kind of prefer generally. But that kind of gets us stuck just working on systems and tools, and because you can either deliver on scope or you can deliver on deadline. We've been delivering on scope. I really want to deliver on deadline for a bit. Do you have any gameplay loop going? Not really. We've had other prototypes that have had more in place in terms of like pathfinding and like some more stuff of people moving around, but we've changed a lot about how the system works and is organized, and we have a lot more work to do on the simulation before I feel like we can have people running around. But we don't have to do all of it. We don't have to do all of it. Like, I think the priority for us is going to be having characters moving around, because we don't really need things like power distribution or like oxygen and like atmosphere. We don't really need that yet for Lo-Fi Flyby, because Lo-Fi Flyby is going to be kind of an idle game. So we can fake stuff like that, but we do need the characters to move around. So we need an abbreviated set. I'm going to reopen this and look at our roadmap. Like, we've spent all of our time working on the tile block editor. We need a little bit of a shipboard simulation, and we need a little bit of a scenario editor. Just a little bit. And then we can work on our side project of Lo-Fi Flyby, which is our FTL-like sort of kind of idle game kind of deal. Which is going to be an early test. Commander, you think the issue is that you haven't made a to-do list or anything? You always get new ideas. You find more joy in starting something new than to finish something. Then you have nothing to show for it. You need checklists to finish anything, usually. Yeah, getting a to-do list, getting like a basic like Kanban board sort of deal is, I think, helpful. Can you jump to the closer compartment than your actual mouse is in? I think that's a good choice, Rhiannon. I'm trying to think about how to do that. We have to identify that edge case is occurring and then manually shift the cursor forward based on probably the sidedness of the input, like if it's on the left or right side of a tile. Commander, speaking of Steam pages, you figured out that you need to pay the $100 and have your legal documents and everything in order to get a dev account in the first place. Okay. And then you probably pay the $100 each time you submit a game after that. It kind of makes sense that they want you to be serious for the first one, for when you actually create your account. That's good to know. That's good to know. Shenanigans, you need to come up with a name for your game before you can actually do anything marketable. I have the same problem with the main project, for sure. Main project does not have a name. I mean, its original name was Digital Iliad, and it might still be. But at least we have a lo-fi flyby. All right, bug fixing. Oh, and apples. I have apples. Man, I want to eat my apples, but the chat, I got to catch up on the chat. Arneo, you absolutely love writing. You don't know why you don't do it more. Lately, with these Age of Wonders async games you played with your brothers, you've started to obsess with writing really snappy and fun lore for every character and faction. Oh, that's fun. That you don't know, but you do think it's $100 for a game. Yeah, no, it just makes sense that, like, the first one, they make you do all of that stuff in advance. And then I presume when you want to make a second game, that's when they're like, another $100, please. Makes sense. Yeah, what I've been doing, what I do for writing, and I'm really bad at it, I have this series of journals. I just have these small notebooks. They're small. They're like, I don't know, half a centimeter thick or something. I have these little notebooks, and they're kind of just for collecting thoughts and like writing like daily journal stuff. I'm just starting a new one. I used to do them all the time. Maybe streaming kind of changed my thoughts around it, or just lack of time. I'm trying to get back into it because it's really helpful to just be able to collect your thoughts at the end of the day. But yeah, I used to do it all the time, and then my last 2 editions of this journal, it's taken me 3 years to do each of them. It's crazy. Hey, ASX DCXZ. That is crazy name. Thank you for the follow. How's that pronounced? You don't want to derail Dave's stream? Feel free to toss ideas in the project thread in the Discord. Oh, yeah, please. Hey, what up, Jacob? Trying to think about how to solve this bug. So if we want it to jump ahead, yeah, I really need this save and load. I need to stop having to make these test areas over and over and over again. Then I would need an interface for saving and loading. I need to fix the block palette interface too. I need to do so many things. So many things. Feels like it never ends. That's game dev. That's what we signed up for. At least if you make a task list, it can feel like it ends at some point. Maybe. Art is never finished. It's merely abandoned, right? Should we name Storm Diginanigans game? Yeah, I don't know. I like Digital Iliad. I don't know if it totally communicates what we're trying to do with it anymore. And it's kind of a name that's grown. So yeah, I think eventually we'll need a different game. You know, I've tried it all. I've done the whole like Galaxy Quest name storm, because Galaxy Quest is famously like the funniest alternative framing for Star Trek, right? Just to call it Galaxy Quest instead. And I've tried all of those. Some of them are already taken. Like, and some of them are pretty silly. Like, What was the silliest one I heard? Astro Tramp. That was the funniest one I've heard, and I was really hoping that that was a... It's sort of available, but it's also... I've learned not to use the word astro because it's hard. People get... Or, you know what's really confusing is when you say astral. Astral is tough. Space Tramp is cool, but that's literally a trampoline. So the SEO of Space Tramp is terrible, or Space Tramps. But I love that kind of, some of that. Okay, so here's the problem. When we move the mouse into a junction, into a wall junction, sometimes it does this, but what usually happens is it gets stuck and it moves down. If there's nowhere to move down to, it goes as low as it can go, and it just manually selects this coordinate. So this is the harder version of the problem, is when there's nowhere to go. But yeah, what we really want is we want it to always do this, where it just jumps forward to the next room. Actually, it would be acceptable if it went to this room too. Depending. Like if we head straight for the middle, we want to do this. But if we end up on one of the sides, we don't want to go down. What we want to do is go over. And so how do we get that to happen? Oh, that's weird. That moves us over, but if we go into here, that moves us down. There actually might be 3 blocks that cause us to move down, not just one, which is a problem. I think what we can do is how do we detect this? This is really hard. I might like give up on this. I might try to fix this one, the bottom one, because this one's more disruptive. This one's more problematic in my mind than this one. But this is pretty jarring, where you're like trying to mouse over and it drops you down a level without your choice. I think we can stare at the code. Nanigans is the forever DM. It happens to the best of us. Not me, I'm a rubbish DM. I tried it once. I did not have the time. I did not have the time needed to make it work. All right. So part of the problem is we build this list. We build 2 lists. We build the block hit list, which is all the blocks along our fake raycast, our sort of raycast that we run from the backdrop to the camera along where the cursor is. We build 2 lists. One is all of the blocks that get hit by that quote unquote raycast. And we also build a block cut list, which is all of the blocks that have not been cut away along that list. You don't know if you don't think you're good at it, but you've been the forever GM for your games. You got to be good at it. I believe that you're good at it. I think if you do it long enough, you kind of inevitably get good at it. All right, we're going to stare at this code while I finish this apple. Thanks for hanging out here. Appreciate you. A community one-shot? That sounds awesome, Nanigans. Yeah, anyone is always... People are always free to use the Discord's voice chats for stuff. Playing games or whatever. I know I don't hang out in there super often. It's not because I don't like you guys. But how are we supposed to maintain our parasocial relationship if we're actually hanging out together? Okay, so one of you won't play D&D 5e, and the other one will only play D&D 5e. This is how D&D games die. What's the big problem with 5e? Apollo, are you more of an advanced D&D player, or like a 3rd edition, or like a 3.5? Or do you like Pathfinder? Maybe you strike me as a Pathfinder player. Nailed it. 3.5 or Pathfinder. A discerning taste. A discerning taste. Starfinder? Is that like sci-fi Pathfinder? I haven't heard of that. That sounds cool. Oh. In the future of the Pathfinder universe. Okay. Okay. That sounds cool. All right, Nanigans, you just need to learn Starfinder 2e. So you can run a game in that. That seems on brand for the channel. Rhiannon, you're not a fan of how Wizards has been doing things. You don't have any games going now, but if you do in the future, you're jumping ship. Maybe to draw a steal. Yeah, I was kind of fishing for that kind of answer. I was like, do we hate the game mechanics, or do we hate the decisions that Hasbro has made? Hey, Jay Tarrant. Your fiance's dad is Pathfinder through and through. Personally, you'll learn whatever to have a good campaign. Hey. You know? I feel like you could do worse for your in-laws than to be joining a Pathfinder house. Like, I can't stand my father-in-law. He only plays Pathfinder. 5e is boring and not fun. Yeah, for me, the mechanics have never been the important part of that game. Like, we've never been... I've attempted to, in the past, do more of, like, the tactics stuff and, like, pay more attention to the rules and, like, tactical stuff of, like, arrangement and, like... My group has historically been more of a theater of the mind group. So we have not, I don't think no one ever really cared about the specifics of the 5e system. Like, we were just telling stories together, and the system was just a vague adhesive to keep the stories going. But I could totally get it. I could totally get people just absolutely hating the 5e system. The most we would engage with the system was try to break it. Like, to create the, like, tabaxi that can, like, outrun, like, a dragon over short distances or whatever. It's like try to make the, like, the tabaxi monk that can move like 200 feet in a turn or something like that. Yeah, you're fine playing anything as a player, Nanigans. As DM, though, your time's limited. You have a harder time getting invested in systems you don't already know. No, that wasn't a serious suggestion from me. That was cheeky. Rules light stuff can definitely be fun, too. Yeah, I'd be interested in I've seen some stuff that's, like, truly rules light. I'd be interested in trying Daggerheart sometime. You just have your blood boil when you have to think about 5e. Well, think about it no longer. I don't really care about 5e. It's what I started with, and it's the only one I've ever played. Rhiannon, systems are so dependent on what people like and enjoy about TTRPGs. No wrong way to play to game, but there are non-optimal choices for different types of gameplay. Yeah, probably. Commander, we should make an open source Digital Iliad community developed TTRPG system. Play games with that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The Digital Iliad TTRPG. The DI TTRPG. You've done some kids on bikes, which is fun. That sounds fun. That's like an 80s like Strangers thing, like a 70s, 80s, like I assume. Like a latchkey kid kind of adventure. You like Morkborg pretty well? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. What am I doing? I'm trying to figure out this bug, but I'm concerned. Because we have to detect that we're in this edge case and then do something different that the system wouldn't otherwise do. And I'm trying to understand what that edge case would be. I think it would be... I think we can detect that edge case if the system tries to move us down a Z level, but we didn't scroll. Is there any other circumstance in which that could happen? That can't naturally happen, right? I'm gonna make a bit bigger of a test area to see if that actually could ever happen. I don't think it can. Like, I don't think physically moving the cursor around without using the scroll wheel could ever move us down a Z level. I don't see how that could happen. In which case, that would be a good way to detect this edge case. Yeah, we're not trying to rage bait you, Commander Apollo, with this 5e discussion. Far from it. Okay, that's... Why is this being so weird? Why won't it let me do this? That was weird. We're heading into ads, by the way, so hold on to your ads. And remember to spend your Bezos bucks. Nanigans, you need Dave to get to the point where he fleshes out the world a bit more so you can build an adventure around that. Ooh. The Digital Iliad TTRPG needs a virtual tabletop that uses the block editor. That would be pretty sick. And an entity component system that rules the game itself. That's my favorite thing about video games. Is like they handle all the rules, adjudication, and complexity. Hey, Shadowflad3. Hey, chat. Is it standard C++ Godot? This project is mostly in C#. I mean, Godot is obviously written in C++, but I think standard Godot is using its built-in scripting language, which is GDScript. Instead of using GDScript, we've been writing in C#, but that's mostly a personal preference thing. Yeah, so I don't think... So what's a circumstance in which moving the cursor around could drop us down to Z level? Oh, this. Literally anything like this. Yeah. we could see if we end up in a different compartment. Like if the system tries to, because that's the thing we're trying to solve, right? Is we accidentally mouse into this junction and the system drops us down a compartment. We could see if the room changes without a scroll, because that can't happen, really. That's not a bad way to detect this edge case. It won't solve this problem. But it actually points to the solution, which is to query what the room is of the block that we're mousing over. And if the block that we're mousing over doesn't have a room, then we know that this has happened. But how do we distinguish that from just doing this, which is just, we're on the outside now? C# is cool. I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if it's true, but yeah, I'm an old Unity refugee. So for what we're trying to do with this specific project, it's been quite useful. But how's it going? Welcome into the channel. Gotta go. See you, Sapphire. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Is it flayed or flad? Because I know you got the 3 at the end, which could signify an E. Making a digital Iliad TTRPG could unironically be a fun way to get back into game design. Nanigan's got a point. I need to flesh out, because I have an internal understanding of kind of what the universe that we're building into is, but I have done very little to actually make any of that concrete. So what happens if I try to do it here? Same thing? Yep. Okay, so we're going to be detecting the room associated with the block. That we're mousing over. If it's a different room, we'll know that this has happened. If it's no room, we have some suspicion of what's happening. We'd have to look to see if there's a room nearby. And then we could pick that as the next. Because, like, if we do this and we're here, what we really want to do is jump to this block. So we could just look to see if there's a room next to the block that we're stuck in. We'd have to check up. We'd have to check over and up. God, I hate edge cases. Or in this case, this is a literal corner case. Not so much an edge case as a corner case. All right, let's see where we would introduce that. I'm gonna eat some more of this apple. Not flood. Okay. Shadow flat. Hey, Pheasant, do a one-page TTRPG. That's pretty cool. Commander, you might stream some TTRPG design tonight. Sounds nice. Ooh, yeah, that's maybe a nice way to get back into some design. So, the way we're going to figure out if this has happened. So, it's not under this circumstance. So, if we're in this branch, so it's all in this branch. Oh, we have a bit of a help here. So it wouldn't be in this branch. I don't think. Well, one of the solutions might be in this branch. The one for when we're at the bottom level. But what we really want is this branch. This branch should fix a lot of it. Because we're just picking the next block cut coordinate. So what we need to do, which I don't know if we're doing, is we need to record a last... Like, we need a prior coord. Commander, Dave, did I think that you were trolling when you were talking about... You were talking about Chinese yesterday. I don't recall. Were you talking about the language? Are you, like, learning Mandarin or something? Sorry. I was probably not trolling you because I don't remember what we were talking about. But it's a fair question. I say things in a certain way where I do kind of embrace the ambiguity of sarcasm, of tonal sarcasm. So I'm sorry if it seemed like I was, if I was being ironic. I probably wasn't. Hey, Magoo, thank you for the subscription. 7 months. Welcome back aboard. How have you been? What have you been up to? We're bug fixing. We're doing the very unsexy work of bug fixing. Some cursor mapping stuff. Mainly because I'm still trying to work it out in my head. How I want to achieve our goals for this year. And how best to wrap up the work that we're currently doing so we can pivot to that direction. And my hesitation with that is pushing me into this direction of just, like, put my head down and fix some bugs. But there's definitely some key stuff we need to work on besides this. We need to work on, like, we need that block editor history so I can implement both save load and undo redo. To implement save load, we really need that invalid block tile mask so that I can display blocks that don't fit our rules and shouldn't be saved. Like a construction shouldn't be saved. Yeah, Mandarin. No, that's super cool, learning Mandarin. I think that would be awesome. I'm like, I know this about myself now. My aptitude for learning languages is really low. And I'm not talking about languages, I'm talking about, like, spoken languages. My aptitude is surprisingly low. My partner loves learning languages. She knows, like, 4-ish languages. She's always trying to teach some of them to me, and I'm just like, it's just in one ear, out the other. I barely speak English. Which is the most, like, Anglo nonsense I could say, but man. I always ask people who are bi or multilingual, I'm like, bilingual or multilingual, I'm like, what language do you think in? And everyone always has an interesting response. And that's something I can't imagine because I can only think in English. I think it's fascinating. Speak English, Spanish, you're learning Mandarin now. That's really cool. Does body language count? Yeah, it's a dancer if you didn't know, chat. Hardly. Yeah, the language of dance. That's where I'm most comfortable, like, expressing myself. Like, you should come to my my interpretive dance recital. Dance for us? No, you can't make me. Nanigans, you grew up in a French-English bilingual area, so you used to know a decent bit of French, and then you worked IT at a Japanese-owned company where all the leadership's supposed to mostly Japanese. You picked up pieces of that. You haven't used either in over a decade, so you're losing it. Yeah, I know, like, Tim Rogers can do, like, Mandarin and, like, Japanese, like, fluently, and I'm like, that's incredible. Shadow, thinking in different language than your native is going to take a toll on your social life. Not recommending. Oh, no. But yeah, we need this. Oh, oops. We really desperately need these features. Expand the block palette. I don't know about that. We kind of need to fix the block palette, though, so that it actually works. Which kind of, we also need a face painting tool so that you can, like, manually paint faces. Invalid block tile mask. Oh, we may or may not need the 90-degree camera rotations. Actually, for lo-fi flyby, 90-degree camera rotations will be really easy because the game camera won't move. So that we can do. Resizable block buffer. Yeah, there's even more things that are on this list that, like, I just got to wrap up. And it would be great if I could wrap them up in the next, like, couple of weeks, but that's not going to happen. We're pretty much done with this. We're reviewing our auto tiler corner cases, our raycast cursor input. That's what we're reviewing right now, and our block cutaway system. If we can wrap these up from review, that'd be great. I really wanted to dial this in before I. Oh, we also need to re-implement our overlays. I actually need to put this back on the to-do list. That's unfortunate. Same with the copy cut and paste tool. I absolutely gutted this and destroyed it. God. There's so much to do. But I need to be smart. I need to be smart. We need to limit ourselves to what we actually need for lo-fi flyby and or genuine general functionality that's like foundational to stuff that we'll build out later. So what did I say? The first thing we need to do is actually store a coordinate. What is surface coordinates? It's never used. Okay, so we don't need that. We could have a current coords. Or we could have like a prior coords. I guess it's probably more like prior coords. It needs to be a vector 4. You wanted to learn, I'm going to mispronounce this, Hokkien? Instead of Mandarin, it's your grandfather's native language. Oh, that's really cool. Unfortunately, though, there are next to no resources for learning that online. Wow. He doesn't want to teach you. That's rough. Yeah, my partner has she's like bothered to learn how to write in her native language. And she speaks it pretty okay, but yeah, she gets so much judgment from other family members who are like native speakers. Makes it really hard to want to keep some of that stuff alive, or to make it to practically be able to, because it's either you don't want to learn it, or people don't want to speak to you in it because you're like an American. Whatever. It can be frustrating. I know there's peoples that are usually very hesitant. Like if you're a tourist and you want to engage with the people of the country that you're visiting, some countries, they love it. when you try to talk in their language. And then other countries, no matter what you do, they'll just respond to you in English because they're just not going to do that with you. They're just and I don't know if it's pride or just being sick of trying to make it work, but it's really interesting to see the distinction between people's attitudes around that. Commander, you feel the same. It's like because it's a dying language too. Oh, yeah, that's really unfortunate. All right. So what we're gonna do is we need to make sure we're always recording our prior coords, because we're going to need those for next time, because we're gonna need to do a comparison. So anytime we set this, we should also set the prior coordinates. Actually, yeah, should we do it that way? Let's just do it that way. That's the easiest thing to do. Do we set the coords in every single branch? So you're set. So you're not, it's not always set in this branch, which is important. It's always set in this branch though. If else, if else, if else. If else, if else. Okay, so it's not always set in that branch either. Okay, then yeah, let's do this one by one, just to have it be fairly robust. In case things change. I don't want to make a presumption. So we're going to record whatever the prior version of it was, and we can use that to make a comparison. Yeah, this one is like you could just put the common code at the end. I don't really want to do that, but maybe we'll just do it. Just so the writer doesn't yell at me. This one, though, needs to be like this. Else, if, else, if. Else, if, else. Oh, are you... Does this happen here, too? It happens anywhere in this block, huh? I guess that's true. All right. Never mind. I was wrong. Just do it like that. That's cool. I mean, it's a shame that you're being left out, but maybe she can then teach you. All right, so we're recording the prior coordinate, and then what we need to do is when we set a new coordinate in certain circumstances, we need to check to see if we've jumped rooms. So here, in this branch, before we assign this, we need to say variable prior room. There can only be one room now. Prior room ID equals. Do we have this list available to us? No, but we need it. Variable block rooms. Is a new buffer read only, buffer 3D read only of block room Is it just an int? I think it's just an int. Equals game.peak state. Actually, what we should do here, we should just say if game.peak state is not equal to game.state.edit, and we'll just throw a new not implemented exception. In fact, let's just do it like that. We can get rid of this check here. Hey, okay, Water, okay. How do you make time to stream so often? You'd like to stream your game development? You don't know how to find the time? You get my stream recommended to you all the time? That's awesome. Really appreciate that. Who knows why, and yet happens. How do you make the time? I don't do a lot else. I'll tell you that. I do have a day job. I'm very lucky in that I have a lot of flexibility in when I do my work. And my boss is nice enough to give me this block of the middle of the day. So I'm basically available in the early in the day and late in the day, and I have this kind of middle of the day block that I've managed to sequester. But it's really like going to the gym, right? It's about routine, because there's a lot of days where I don't want to do this. But the regularity of my routine helps. Having the stream also has its own built-in accountability. Because if I don't stream, people are like, where were you? But yeah, it definitely took a while to build up the habit. So yeah, I would say try to set up a routine that you're pretty strict about following. Which I don't know if that's helpful at all. Block rooms, buffer 3D. I say lean into the power of habit. Because otherwise I think it's really hard. Like, I think if you don't have a schedule and you're just like, I'll stream when I have time, or I'll stream when I feel like it, it just won't happen. Like, even with the best intentions, it like won't happen. How long until you had any viewers? Kind of crazy you have no videos on your channel besides the VODs. Oh yeah, I have had no time to do any edited content. I don't think I'm going to be doing any edited content until I have a Steam page up, because I need a call to action. I need a Steam page up anyway, because I don't have anywhere to send people, because we're working on this bigger FTL-like game, but I also want to make a smaller project that we can get out there earlier, that right now is kind of being set up as like an idle game, like a small kind of little idle game, like a desktop companion, using a lot of this tech in this universe and this art style and everything. I would say, how long did it take? So we're coming up on my affiliate anniversary, which is when I became an affiliate on Twitch. This is just about the 2-year mark. So I started streaming in February of 2024. I made affiliate in April of 2024. So I managed to hit an average of 3 viewers on Twitch after about, what, in that time? By about, you know, early April. So I'd say it was about, what, 2 months then? 1 month? It was about, that's only about 6 weeks or something. That feels crazy. There's a group of people on Twitch that search out and pretty much only watch streams that have like no viewers. So I think, at least if you're on Twitch, getting some viewership happens very quickly. Getting, building that viewership up is very slow beyond that. But you'll have a handful of viewers almost immediately, and then those people will actually just disappear and never come back once you start to get a more normal, a larger, I say larger very loosely, but a larger following. That's fairly quick. I mean, I've seen people whose channels have grown way faster than mine. On YouTube, I would actually say it took well over a year for anyone to watch. Well over a year before the YouTube algorithms started recommending me to people. So I think on YouTube, the barrier is much higher to get that recommendation because it is so much more impression based on YouTube. In Twitch, it's like category based and and tag based. People kind of look for streams. But on YouTube, and that's on Twitch, but on YouTube, it's a lot more like, this showed up in my browse, or this showed up in my recommended videos. And getting that is a lot harder and is very hit or miss. YouTube is very finicky about recommending stuff to people. It's hard to please the algorithm. I don't think that's surprising or controversial. But yeah, I would encourage it. I would encourage you to start. The hardest thing to do is to start. And it's been really good for me in terms of just building up a community, because I think the games market is so crowded that you really need to build an audience at the same time that you're building a game, or you'll make the game and then there won't be an audience, right? And that's like there's a lot of people. It's not, the world is no longer like, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. It's not like you're guaranteed discoverability anymore. So yeah, I would super encourage anyone who's doing game development to think about what they're going to do to develop their awareness. Not their awareness, but like other people's awareness of their work. And it doesn't have to be streaming. You could do TikTok. You could do YouTube Shorts. You could try Reddit. Reddit's pretty hostile to people coming in from outside of their communities and just dumping self-promotion stuff. So your mileage may vary. Certain games are, good for YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Certain games are good for, long-form streams. Definitely go into it with like a kind of elevator pitch, or like I just say making an FTL-like, and that just brings people in. People are like, fuck yeah, FTL. Other people come in and are like, what's an FTL? I know about Godot, but I don't know what. So it's like, it's tough. We could really get into it in terms of details. We do have a Discord if you're interested in being part of the community and like hanging out and or asking more questions or sharing your work. I love to see the games that people are working on. But yeah, we're still a really small community. But yeah, I look forward to the point where I have time to make edited videos, because right now I do not. And I look forward to having a content that would be worthy of an edited video, because I think that'll be the next step for me in terms of growing my channel. Because right now all I really get are people to watch live streams, which is a significant number of people, and people get really invested in the project. It's really sweet. I don't know why any of you keep coming back. I would hop in here, see this, and be like, I'll check back in a year. But I appreciate you all for deciding to be part of the community. LS Dev, FTL is 13 years old. You feel old. Yeah, it's important to feel old. Yeah. I think it's an important realization to have. We're old, LS. But you know what? If it makes you feel any better, based on the demographic data that I get from YouTube, pretty much everyone watching this is the same age as us. So, you're among friends. Or at least fellow olds. okay, that's how you feel every time you go to make content. You feel like you don't have enough to show. Then I would recommend the live streaming, because a lot of people like to see how the sausage is made. Like, I don't like super edited down devlogs uh where it's all just cut out. Like, all the actual work is cut out and you don't see any of what actually went into it. I don't like that. I want to see the work. So as long as you're doing the work, you have something to show, even if it's just the work that you're doing. Yeah, it won't be good enough for maybe a long form video. Maybe it's good enough for a YouTube short. All you need is some funny behavior that takes like 30 seconds to show, and you can be like, my game is doing this crazy thing. I mean, the format is technically, I had X problem in my game, I solved it with Y, and Z happened. Technically, if you're looking for the format to how to make YouTube shorts. Nanigans. Once you get to the point you have more visual content, heavily recommend doing more visual clips of things. The dev work will target those who are interested in making games, which isn't the exact demographic you want to sell to. Hey, Fanny Slam, thanks for the hydrate. Yeah, that's a really good point. You at a certain point, you need edited work, and you need short form edited work if you eventually want to market out to game players and not just game devs. Arneo, the auto-tiler work isn't the best for growing viewership, though you're guessing. More content work is going to help for sure. Yeah, I'm really hoping that the focus on Lo-Fi Flyby on an actual project that will have, you know, a mood and like a setting, and like you'll be able to see people on the ship doing their thing. I realize I need to work a lot more on music. I actually just bought a little musical instrument that I think will help me jam out some ambient stuff. Because when I'm playing around, I like to play around with physical instruments, but I realize that I'm going to need to do a lot of digital recording to make this happen. So that's going to be, I realize that that's going to be the most important content to develop for Lo-Fi Flyby is actually the audio, and it's the thing I've done no work on. So I think that's actually where I need to catch up the most, is on audio. Oh. We need to add the W direction, I think, when we're getting this. Yeah. Rhiannon, have you looked into doing any kind of modular synth stuff for music? I've looked a little. I have some ones I want to play around with. In the main game, I want to have it very locked in with like Fmod in terms of like layered. Like I can change it based on the mood of what's happening. I think initially I don't have to worry about anything like that. But yeah, when I jam out music, I like to do it on an instrument. So I actually just got a little hand pan, which is one of those silly little ambient, little hippy dippy, like little metal little metal tin, I don't know what to call it. They're like big hollow tin things, and you can just, they have notes kind of hammered into them. I'm hoping that'll be cool for playing around with some more of a soundscape in terms of just thinking about melody lines and more droning background notes. Those things are thousands of dollars. I found a cheap one for like a couple hundred. I'm gonna play around with that stuff. But yeah, music is what I need to get most serious about, and it's the thing I put the least effort in. I realize that. That's not how I do this. How do I read? Block.getFace. Oh, can I just put a... Oh, I just want to put an index. Wait. Block.getFace coordinator. Upcasts a vector 3i appending a z value at the end. What is happening? Vector 4i, int, block face, get face. So I have the int. I need to do the reverse now, and I don't remember how to do that. I'm dumb. Let's look here. Hey, LS theremin supremacy. Except they're like a theremin would be super cool to have. But no, my partner is already going to be annoyed that I get that I bought this giant metal donut instrument. I don't know where I'm going to put it. But yeah, I'm very excited to be working on the ambient soundtrack. I do realize that it's probably like the content. Because Ropika's Idle Island is cool, but it can't possibly have more than like 20 minutes of music. I feel like I need like hours of music if I'm gonna do like a genuine lo-fi thing. A little lo-fi desktop companion. It's gonna be tricky. It's actually just gonna be work. It's just gonna be hard work. So where do I... It's not here. Where do I actually use... Oh, it's here. This is a good place to look. Okay, plus block.getCowards, block.face, W. Right, okay, okay. So this needs to be block.getCowards, block.face, priorCowards.w. There we go. Int. Rhiannon, did someone mention here that they found a bunch of audio from their local subway system? Ooh, probably lots of noises in there that could be manipulated in SFX. Yeah, I need to do that too. I need to start collecting samples and stuff. I haven't decided what approach I want to take to the lo-fi, whether I want it to be mainly manipulation of samples or if I want to record more of the instrumentation myself. I haven't quite decided. I think for a sci-fi game, I have to be kind of thoughtful about that part. Danigans need to make a dynamic mix of music so you can interlay different tracks to get more variety. Yeah, that's why I want to take this more ambient layered approach so that we can do stuff like that and we can stretch out the stuff that we have, where you might have a certain kind of droning background beat or bass or whatever you want to call it, and then you can layer different melodies over it or different augmentations of it. And so we probably will still use Fmod to some extent to do that kind of layering, but it'll be a lot less of like we're going into battle, switch to battle music. It'll be more like just seamlessly fade from these things so that you don't necessarily notice. Ambient music is hard. There's like this Brian Eno quote that's like, ambient music needs to be interesting, but like ignorable. Like it can't be so interesting that it's like pulling your focus, but it can't be so boring and repetitive that you're like tuning it out like all the time. Or what's worse, getting annoyed at it and like muting it. Foolbox has some really good music and scope creep. I bet Foolbox does. Does Foolbox make their own music? I don't know that about them actually. Some devs do, and some devs have composers and stuff. I'm definitely on the doing everything myself boat, which definitely makes life harder. He hired out. That's how you get the good shit. Is he using the same composer? What's his name? Trevron? Trevron is really good. Trevron was like the Block Shop composer, I think. Yeah, you think Trevron is the name? He wrote Trayvon. I think it's Trevron, but all right, so we're getting our prior room ID. What we want to do is we want to scrutinize before we set this. We'll say vector 3i. Well, you can say candidate. Actually, it would be a vector 4i. Vector 4i. Here, we can do this. We can say int synonyms for candidate. Like suitor. Bet. Perspective is okay. I'm just gonna say block room ID equals cursor block hut list. All right. You got the right name? Oh, no worries. I'm going to take a quick break. Need a quick bio break. I'm just going to run the ads now, and then we'll be done with ads for the rest of the stream. So I'll be back in a couple minutes. I really appreciate it, everyone hanging out here with me today. I know we've been kind of tired and unfocused recently, but, you know, appreciate you working through it with me here. I'll be right back. All right, we back. Thanks for hanging out. Hanigans, you've gotten quotes from a couple people for making ambient music for games. Rough rates look to be around $100 a minute of audio. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, there's really no choice when you're indie. Really, there's really no choice to do it all yourself, unless you got the money. If you don't got the money, then what you've got is time. Sometimes you don't even have that. Say block rooms, get your default. Let's do it this way. Let's say variable block top cut. All right, so we're going to get all this. We're going to look at our candidate. We're going to figure out the room. We're going to figure out what the last room was. So if the room is different and not 0, that's when we have a suspicion that this corner thing occurred. And we'll add a little bit of logic. I hate how spaghettified this system is slowly becoming, but it's because it's an input handling system. And I honestly don't know how you do input handling in a way that doesn't ultimately become just this kind of weird hodgepodge of edge cases. And I don't know if it's super avoidable. So we're not going to worry about it too much. If I could fix this one bug today, I'd feel like we did something. That sounds reasonable to you. $100 a minute. You don't have the money to spare right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the expectation is. I know that it's like every minute of final video takes like at least an hour of editing or something like that. It's like an hour of editing for like every minute of content. That's like the minimum. But I feel like for me, it would be even more. So yeah, how much time would I spend on a minute of ambient audio? I don't know. I know that we need to do it in such a way that we can scale it. We're not going to be doing these tight audio tracks that are like we're not going to have like a tight 10, you know? We need to make hours of audio, and it needs to be good. So I am leaning more towards sampling, because I don't think I'm in a position where I can record that much audio. Kind of mixing and manipulating and some of that. I think I can get into some of that, but I don't know. That's the area that I have the least confidence in, and I've done the least amount of work. But it's also the area that's the most important, so I really need to dive in soon. But it's like, where does the time? Because it's also not something I really want to work on stream, at least initially. I like programming on stream. I don't like doing art as much, and I haven't done any audio really, but recording instruments on stream is really hard in terms of managing all the different audio inputs and having it sound good. So I don't know. It's definitely something I need to make time for. Nanigans, you figure you can probably stumble your way through making something decent with sample MIDI-based software that you can just fiddle with notes until you have something you're happy with. And then if you get to the point it makes financial sense, you can get someone to make them a proper. That sounds good. That sounds good. Rhiannon, you tried to refactor your input code last night and you just stared at the screen for an hour and then went to bed. I think that's okay too. That was like me trying to read about submodules, get submodules, which sound like they're exactly what I need for what I'm thinking about with this game in terms of common functionality. Nanigans, you think you've said it a few times, but audio is the biggest gap in knowledge for you right now? Yeah, me too. Me too. Because I've definitely I haven't gotten to do a lot of art, but I have now been doing the art for a while. I haven't gotten to do a lot of it in terms of amount of content, but it's been a few years now of trying to learn how to do pixel art, and I'm confident enough that I can get there, that I can get to something that looks okay. The question is always, how long does it take to get there? But it definitely helps to have a really low resolution. Really low. I know people say low resolution pixel art is hard. Strong disagree. Like, I get why people say that, because the hard thing is to express something. It's hard to get the resolution needed to express something, especially something detailed. But, like, to me, it's so much easier, because it's so much easier to determine whether the pixel is in the right place or not for me. Nanigans, yeah, you think working on audio on stream, if you're not a proper musician, can go south very quickly, yo. Jacob, 8x8 was tough for you. 8x8 can be tough, just because it's hard to limit yourself to 8. Like with this cat, I ended up just accepting. I just put it on a 16x16, even though it pretty much only uses the 8x8. But that's because certain frames it stretches out. Like this is 8. This is 9. This is 10. So it's like, is this a lot of wasted space? Yes. Do I really care? Not really. If I wanted to, I guess I could make this 16x8. But like, what if I have like a leaping through the air thing and we go slightly over the 8? It's like I've just been giving myself lots of empty space. Magoo, what are you talking about? Nanigans, low-res art is easier if you're not very artistically inclined, but if you are good at art, it can be harder to express the same details you otherwise pull off. I don't know. It's definitely harder to get details in there, but I think good artists excel at this low resolution because they have a strong idea about what the character should be. I'm not saying I'm good. I'm not saying like my art is good. I'm just saying the way I think about it, and maybe that's to your point, I like the simplicity of the low resolution. There's definitely stuff that's really hard to express at that resolution. Image compression minifies it anyway. Does it though? Like, I don't know. I don't think the Godot render pipeline does very much when you pass in a sprite sheet. Like if I passed in a sprite sheet, I would probably want to trim this down first. From what I've heard, is Godot does not rearrange your sprite sheets or tile atlases or anything. It does not attempt to do any kind of optimization. Rhiannon, you have no Jewel doing 2 pixel tall guys. Yeah, exactly. God forbid you ever say your art is good, Mr. Not a Programmer or Artist. Look, that's the way I protect myself from criticism. Because if someone criticizes my art, I'm like, I'm not an artist. If someone criticizes my code, I'm like, I'm not a programmer. This is just what we have to do to make it done, to make it happen. If someone says my game is bad, not much I can do about that. That's what hurts. That's where you finally get to me, is when you look at the, but I've had the benefit of not having actually made a game properly. So, but yeah, there will be nothing protecting me from the the Steam review percentage. That'll just hit me straight in the heart, and we'll see what that ends up looking like. And again, yeah, it doesn't rearrange things, but you can change the compression formats. It defaults to mostly uncompressed for 2D, but heavier compression for 3D. You do that in your import settings. You found that out when you were having weird color issues with your debug textures on your tiles. Oh yeah, I just have it do nothing because I'm always in pixel art, so there's no filtering, no compression, no anything. So I'm not thinking about what's happening to with textures normally. But that's a good point. That is a good point. LS Dev, game is bad, quote unquote, and no further elaboration should be ignored anyway. They're interested in the project and didn't just want to hate. They would tell you something that they would like changed. True. They'll also tell you something they don't like, and they'll tell you how to fix it. And obviously they're right about what they don't like, but they're usually not right about how to fix it. Yeah, handling feedback like that is really hard, but a really important skill to develop in this age. All right, I know what I want to do for this, and I'm like, my brain is just blanking on how to actually implement this. So all we really want to do is we want to say if block room ID is not equal to prior room ID, and block room ID is not equal to 0. If block room ID is equal to 0, we're going to need to do something different. So I might nest this, but I know that this is the initial condition we're looking for. And again, the best way to handle feedback is to point a speaker with the inverse waveform to drown it out. That's pretty good. Yeah, the hardest part about getting feedback about your games is that people aren't going to give you feedback on the game you made. They're going to give you feedback on the game that they wanted you to make. Or they're going to give you feedback on the game that you didn't make. Those are the two things you're going to get feedback on. You're almost never going to get feedback on the game that you actually made. That's just not how people think. People would be like, well, I wanted you to do this and you didn't do this, so I don't like this. And it's like, yeah, that's valid feedback, and you can think about whether that desire fits in with the promises that you're making to the player. And if that's something that a player is reasonably going to expect based on the promises that you make to them, promises being a loose term for genre conventions or things that you're communicating through the art or the capsule or the description or in the game itself. There's a lot of games that tell you something is happening, but something else is happening, right? That Ludo narrative dissonance, you know. Take it easy, Arneo. Your brain stopped working. You're gonna feed it chicken until it reboots. That sounds like a plan. Good night. Thanks, Arneo. Take it easy. All right, so if it's not the same room ID, then what we want to do is we actually want to check some of the rooms next to the block top cut to see if we can find a room ID. Actually, here, I need to think about this a little more. Well, actually, that's not how the stack resolves. I'm going to do my minimum. My quote-unquote little minimum test case here. Oh, this is my jam. Summer Night Walk by Harris Heller. Might be my fave. So here's what we're gonna try to do. The first thing we're gonna try, because it's the easiest, is in this case, instead of picking the topmost cut block, we're gonna just go to the next hit block. So there's two lists. There's the hit blocks, which are all of the blocks from the backdrop through the cursor or along the cursor towards the camera, right? There's a list of all the blocks that we hit. There's also a list of all the blocks that are cut away. So I think what we're going to first try to do is go to the next up hit block. And we're going to see if that gives us what we want in terms of behavior. If not, we're going to have to do a bit of searching, which is not the best, but it might also work. This will solve one of these kinds of problems. One of them only. But one of them is a decent start. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to just say block cowards. I don't think this is taken. And if this occurs, we're just going to say block cowards equals. Actually, we need to know what this index is. Actually, that's super easy. We're going to say block cowards. Ooh, can we actually guarantee this? Cursor block hit list count is greater than 0. Cursor block cut list count is greater than 0. This could go wrong, but we're going to try this anyway. Cursor block hit list. We're going to say cursor block cut list dot count. I don't know if we care about this and room ID is 0, but what we do want is and cursor block hit list dot count is greater than cursor block cut list dot count. If we don't have any more blocks to hit, there's no point in trying to do this. We're going to say this. All right, let's try this. Hey, Aragon. How's it going? Congrats on another incredibly successful Down to Jam. This one has been so fun. So many people have been streaming the Jam games so much. It's been so cool. I know we're not even done. It's like it'll be wrapped up this weekend, but this has been a great one. I don't know if I love what I ended up with, but you know, that's the way. I was very pleased with the whole experience. Looking forward to the next one. And then up for more. Right, up for more. That's super cool. Some post-jam stuff. I want to do some template stuff out of what I made in terms of I would love to not have to recreate a lot of that tech again for the next jam. So I think I'm going to template out some stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of post-jam otherwise for that, but maybe that works. But yeah, up for more sounds great. That's such a great idea. Next year, let's try to not do it the weekend before or the weekend after GDC. I was absolutely wiped out for GDC. I pretty much didn't participate in GDC. I was so tired. And you know what? That was okay this year, but I should probably try to do a better job next year. We know the GDC calendar. It's March 1st through 5th because they keep moving it up. I feel like soon it's going to be in February. Insane. GDC needs to move off our turf. GDC keeps moving. We keep moving into it. Yeah, they need to back off. Hey, the Noobtacular. What's up? You just got here for the first time. What drawing tool is he using? This is in my own, this is my own tool. This is a block editing tool that we have built that includes a cutaway system. It includes an auto tiler. This is all running in Godot. Welcome in. We're using this to try to build an isometric 2D spaceship management game. Kind of like FTL, Faster Than Light. But we're doing this kind of fake 3D thing. We're fixing some bugs with it right now. Is it available for others? Not at the moment. It would be cool to you know what? This thing is doing more than I want it to. So what if I do this? But I have had people express interest in something like this as a plugin. I have to think about that. Because right now this depends on C# for some of it. But it doesn't strictly need to. I'm just using C# for my simulation. But that's kind of part of the template stuff I was talking about. I would like to templatize at least the rendering process for this so I could use it in game jams and so that it doesn't depend on C#. Because none of my game jams... I think we fixed the thing we were trying to fix, but we might have overdone it because now the scroll wheel is like touchy. Scroll wheel is very touchy. Rhiannon, you saw an article that said attendance was down specifically because of war politics. They obviously forgot about D2 down to jam. Yeah. You can blame the, political atmosphere in this country for probably a lot of the reason why international people didn't come. But I also think that their rebrand was very off-putting. It's why I didn't go in an official capacity. I didn't buy a ticket. Their whole Festival of Gaming rebrand and the changes to their pricing structure is like really gross. They seem to be happy with a 30% drop in attendance. So maybe it worked out for them because their whole thing was they need to make more money from the whales. They need to make more money from everyone, but especially the whales. So I don't know. Publicly, they said they're very happy with the attendance this year, which was 20,000 instead of 30,000, which was for the 2 years prior. I don't know if I believe that. So I'll probably go next year. I'll probably get over it and go. Yeah, this is doing more than it should be. But it does seem to fix the problem we were trying to fix. Problem is it's doing too much. I think I need an additional condition here. I think we need a bunch of conditions here. So we need block room ID does not equal to prior room ID. I think we also need to say, oh, that's neat. I didn't know that's how that worked. I think we also need to say, and block awards dot any greater than actually here we want to say prior coords dot all less than we want all less than or equal to, which I didn't make, so that's fun for me. Oh, it can't be all. It would have to be priority cards dot xyz dot all less than. Why don't I have or equal to's set up? Okay. Here, we're gonna say and not. because I can't be bothered to add that functionality right now. But we basically want to look at the relative. If the new coordinate is in front of the old coordinate, we don't want to do this edge case thing. Hey, Noobtacular, thank you for the follow. You'll have a demo to sell to people who you have to go next year. That's a good point. That's a good point. Shadow program, what's an FTL? FTL stands for FTL, faster than light, which is we have to say this now. We have to say it's a classic fast tiny lions. You always have the best. It's like that bad. There's like that bad subtitles channel or whatever. A bad lip reading. It makes me think of that. The bad lip reading channel that does like TV and movies, and they like purposely misunderstand what people are saying. That's fun. But yeah, it's a classic starship management game by Subset Games from 2012. We're trying to make a little isometric 2D take on this. Probably the most recent game in this vein was Void War. You should make an FTL command that links out. That's true, that's true. I'm pretty sure Nick's already put that in the suggestion box. I should. I know you're ready. I know you're ready to submit the commands to bring people into the community and to answer questions, which is why you are dangerously approaching mod territory, Rhiannon. Gotta watch it. Watch yourself. You're being too helpful. Your community outreach is reaching dangerous levels. But yeah, we're working on an isometric 2D FTL-like game in Godot. Noobtacular, if you're good at making tools that can generate more income than even making a game. That's a good point, Noobtacular. That's a good point. I don't think Godot specifically has a strong... Well, I know it doesn't. Godot doesn't have an asset marketplace. They are working on that. The Foundation is working on that. I'm pretty sure they don't currently. But Unity is definitely the situation where, and maybe Unreal to an extent. But yeah, I know Unity has a really strong asset marketplace where people genuinely do make money selling tools, and they make a lot more money than you might make making a game. Shadow program. What kind of tools you need passive income? So the tool they're talking about and what we're kind of working on right now to try to solve this bug is a block editor tool to help us make. So our game is isometric 2D. And that means that the data is 3D, but the presentation is 2D. So we have we have a rendering system, a cutaway system, a cursor mapping system. We have a bunch of systems that combine into this real-time block editor tool that allows us to build out these sets. Right now it's all very gray boxed, but you know, you can see eventually this is going to be a shipbuilder tool. Not a shitbuilder tool, a shipbuilder tool. Talking about bad lip readings. Yeah, we can build out this very simple space. We have compartmentalization systems to handle like figuring out where the compartments are. So if I seal this up in this kind of honeycomb prison cell kind of look, we have a bunch of tools for how to navigate the space here. So we can build this, give it a second to flood fill and figure out all the rooms, and then we can scroll in. So we have this. So imagine this is like a spaceship, right? And you're like, oh, let me look at this room. So you can do all of this. It's a little touchy. That's one of the things we're working on. Yeah, this is the idea. Some people were like, you should make like a Dwarf Fortress style game with this. And I'm like, that would be crazy. But that is kind of the more simulation-y aspect of this that we're interested in, is kind of a RimWorld-y kind of, this is what it's like to be on a spaceship kind of simulation. But we're trying to make a couple of games using this tech stack, actually. trying to fix this. Because right now, if you slide into a junction, it drops you down a level, which is not what it should do. That's what we're trying to fix. So demotivated to code with AI. It's sick. AI ruin you. Yeah, I don't code with AI. It feels, I think it would ruin me too. It's so antithetical to why I want to do this. I think if I had to for my day job, I think I could suck it up and do it. But for my own work here, no way. We're artisanal, organic, handwritten code. Hey, Cake Hug, yo. First thing you hear is a shit building tool. Yeah, this is our shit building tool. What up, Cake Hug? Yeah, we're working on a shipbuilding tool here for an isometric 2D kind of FTL-like game. That's what we're doing. No. Hey, welcome back, Apollo. Yeah, I can't do it. The closest I get to prompting an AI is Google search, because I don't have a choice. Google search is just asking Gemini something. And to be honest, I have found utility out of that. Gemini is usually straight up wrong about all the details, but it does usually link me out to the pages I actually want to look at, unlike all these sponsored Google search results that I would get back. Try it for science. I will try it if someone literally pays me to do it. That is when I would try it. So until my boss is like, look, the shareholders have said we have to use AI, I'm not doing it. But thank you. I appreciate your feedback on the project. Yeah, I know a lot of people. That's one of the scary things about AI, and we're not going to get into a whole AI discussion because I know most people just want to go vomit in the corner when I'm one of them. But I think there's a lot of data to support that it really breaks your brain. It really robs you of your creative ability to think of solutions because it's so convenient. And even if it's the wrong solution, the solution is it's just at your fingertips. Even though it's wrong, it's just right there. It's too easy. It's so convenient. There's really nothing else you can do. Your part-time job is using Claude Code. Yeah, and then it kind of works its way into you. LS Dev, way too much work to put minus AI in every search ever. Oh, does that work? Can you put minus AI and Gemini won't respond? I'm sure there's a way to turn Gemini off or whatever, but maybe there isn't. I don't know. It's so convenient that I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Gemini search. It started to worm its way inside my own mind that I'm like, yeah, I'll take that AI summary. So it's already started. But I'm not going to do any agentic coding or generative art assets or anything like that. That's not why I'm doing this. That's not why I'm doing this. Yeah, minus AI works. Sick. Rhiannon, you saw a picture of someone saying stop using Claude Code and use the Chipotle chatbot, and the person said you want a burrito, but first you need an algo for Python, and it spat out the algorithm. That's crazy. That's crazy. You think you're doing wonderful without it? You're just ruined. No, I appreciate that, Shadow. The first step is admitting you have a problem, right? And it sounds like you're there. You want to build a persistent idle game? We want to build an idle game. That's what we're working on as our like stepping stone to our big space sci-fi game. I want to make an idle game, like Ropuka's idle game, Idle Island or whatever. I want to make a little desktop companion that's like just a little cargo ship with like a pilot and like a companion, like an animal companion, and it's just them doing their little cargo runs and just lo-fi chilling. I want to do that. I don't want to do an incremental game. I want to do like an idle game, like a Pomodoro timer, like lo-fi, like a lo-fi girl chill game. I really want to do that. Apollo, you're thinking about VC on Discord. I can't do that tonight. I have game dev co-working sessions a lot, and I have one tonight. But yeah, y'all are free to use the voice chat for whatever. I mean, it's why it's there. All right, so if not block coords dot any greater than prior coords dot xy. I need to do the xyz. Not any greater than. We'll try that. We're gonna try this. We're trying to fix this thing where the cursor slips into the junction between rooms and it gets kind of lost. We're trying to add a corner case, a literal corner case solution to that. I'm not sure if we've done it. We're not. Yeah, I appreciate everyone hopping in. There's been some new faces today. I guess obligatory Discord invocation. You dropped the ball, Rhiannon. I invoked the Discord and nobody linked command. I'm just fucking with you. I would like to do some plugin or stuff to help people. Okay, does this actually work now? Okay, so it's not accidentally happening all the time. The real trick is did it fix the problem? I think it did. What if I do like here? Okay, I think we fixed it. I think we fixed this version of it. So now if we get into that situation, instead it just jumps to the next room closer on the same level instead of... Technically all it does is it goes to the next block in the hit list, even if that block has been cut away. So it kind of overwrites the cutaway system. Not overwrites. Overreads. Ignores. I think ignores is the right word. It like ignores the cutaway system. And you can actually see it because the block appears before the cutaway system updates. For a second. Sick. Yeah, we fixed it. Okay. One bug down. I'd say one to go in terms of the class of bug that we're trying to fix today. Because we want to fix this one. This one's still here. Which is if you do the same thing and you're on the bottom floor, it does this. Actually, can we just fix it the same way? Will that work? We should be able to use the same fix. We just need to add a detector in the right spot. But I think we can fix this the same way. Because this, now my cursor is like stuck in the wall and that's like not good. All right, where is this happening? Well, I'm pleased that that edge case actually worked. That edge case, or that corner case detector actually worked. Kind of remarkable. You failed. So within a second, can you drag out when it's quote-unquote stuck in the wall? Kind of like peek through when hovering at the four corners. Yeah, it's not intended. It's not intended. No, we want it to jump. We want to do the same thing that we did here, where it jumps to the next room instead of getting stuck in the floor. We want it to come towards the camera. And this method will work for that. We just need to put it in the right place. So I'm going to copy this. And then when does this happen, though? Oh, you know what? You know what I bet isn't totally fixed? I'm gonna do this one more time. Because I bet this is only fixed if I don't scroll. I bet if I introduce a wheel scroll at the same time, the bug will still be there. So I actually need to apply this in more places than I currently am, is my theory. But what up? What up, Smooth, in a second? Catching us close to the end here, but I would love to fix these bugs. Then I could actually say I did something today. Which would be pretty cool. Oh, you know what would be the other good thing about actually making ambient audio and like making hours of it is I'd actually have audio for YouTube videos. Because right now most of my live streams get demonetized because of the music I play. Which is safe. I don't get copyright strikes, which is the important thing, but it's there. A lot of the music is not monetizable. So if I'm scrolling and moving the mouse at the same, yep, the bug still happens. Actually, it's hard to tell, but I think the bug still happens. It's actually really hard to tell. Maybe I'm just okay with, because it actually depends on your intent. If your intent is to scroll and you happen to move the cursor down here, this is actually probably fine behavior. I'm going to be more concerned about doing it here. Or if you scroll, I don't want you to be able to do this either way, whether you're scrolling or not. Okay. If input and cursor. See ya, Nanigans. Going for the double kill. Yeah, exactly. So where are we putting this? This needs to be in one more place. Oh no, it's here. I think it's here, and that's a problem. Could also be here. Maybe it's here. If block cut list.count is greater than 0. You know what? I think to fix this bug, I have to change this. I think I have to make this just be... I think I have to replace this with this. This is going to have a consequence that I'm going to have to decide whether I find acceptable or not. This is going to have a side effect. Side effect is going to be that we won't be able to... The cursor won't be able to reach behind anything. Like, I'm not going to be able to make a block here and then reach behind like that. Yeah, see? So we do this. So we do this like this, and we can go back here like this. But as soon as the cursor goes here, it's going to jump. And that's okay for now. I think I can add an edge case. Not an edge case, but I think I can add something that can tell if you're like mousing around back here. I think that's pretty easy to do. Oh, I don't need to do this big of a test. I guess I will. Everyone's having a good day. All right. So if I try to do this now, what happens? It takes me all the way out. That's not right. We want... We actually want... We don't want the last one. We actually want the first one, I think. I might actually be okay with this compromise. I should make it when you're dragging out like big blocky objects like this. Instead of making a solid object, it should make a hollow room. I should change the tool to do that. With the caveat being, I really don't want it to be able to make a double wall. Think about how to limit that. All right, so now if we do this, what happens? Go to the next room. Will that happen in every case? Hey. Bug fixed. So if there's nothing, if the block cut list is empty, what this basically says is just go to the first block hit instead. If I'm scrolling, does this still work? It looks like it. Scroll doesn't seem to matter. That something weird happened there. Maybe not. Seems to be okay. Ship it. Yeah, we're shipping it. But bugs fixed. All right. That's the only bug I know about with the cursor mapping system, so that's pretty great. And then if I try to cursor around, so the compromise is this, which is that if I try to run my cursor around the back side here, it's going to jump to the first wall once we get here. So here it should go like that. Oh, that's not actually that useful, but that's fine. Because we're always going to hit the corner, huh? So what if I do it like this, though? Or what if I do it like this? What if I do like this? Yeah, I guess the inside. I want to do something about that, but I think this is good for building. I don't think we'll allow that to happen when you're in play mode. We'll do something else in play mode. Maybe there just won't be an exterior cutaway in play mode. In build mode, this makes sense, because you might be like... Well, actually, that doesn't make a ton of sense either. But we have to leave that cutaway model in place for when you're building. So we can't really do anything about that. And you know what? If it's a little awkward when you're building ships, I can live with that, at least for now. But yeah, sick. We fixed it. That feels good. Camera rotation, like 4-way, then you wouldn't need to go behind. That's the solution, which is something that we support in a very specific circumstance. We can rotate the camera as long as the camera is not also moving. I have not figured out the math for when you, like, rotate the camera and then you move and then you rotate again. I know it's supposed to be simple, but my vector math skills are good. So, like, camera rotation will work already with lo-fi flyby, because in lo-fi flyby, the ship is so small, there's no moving camera. There might not actually even be a camera entity, which I have to think about. Actually, I'll probably leave the camera for backward for compatibility reasons, but we just won't be able to move it. But yeah, you're right that fixes that problem, because then if you ever need to get behind something, you just turn the camera and now what was behind is now in front. So yeah, you're very correct that that's how you solve that. Rhiannon, rotation. Oh, yeah, Rhiannon told the whole thing about how I'm just bad at vector math, and so camera rotation doesn't work with camera movement right now. It's something that I've left broken for so long that I could so relatively easily fix, and I do not do it. I do not do it. Okay. Well, I'm very pleased. This is like quite a big corner case we're detecting, but that fixes the problem, so who cares? It's also only happens very rarely. We do have to pass around this buffer for just that purpose, but that's fine. That's what it's for. Yeah. I think that's it. I think we shipped it. I'll go out with one more, just kind of showing where we're at with Ripley and Jonesy. I know some people have seen it, but there's more people in here. So this is our Jonesy. This is our little companion for our little lo-fi flyby game. Our cat-like companion. I'm pretty pleased with it. I need some animations of it moving. So that's all I'm gonna work on next. I like doing this off stream when I'm talking at one of these co-working events or just hanging out. I've started working on the ship layout. I have a rough sketch of it, but I don't have any details. And then I've been working on some wardrobe things for Ripley. I'm giving her Deanna, Counselor Troy colors for her top, but we'll have variety. I'm already trying to work out some variety. Thought I had a jacket one that I liked, but I don't remember what it was. Was it like this? What was the jacket that I liked? I kind of like this. The shoulder pads look. I probably want a different color for that. The crop top is good, only because I think it actually communicates like the gender expression better than any of the other ones do. But you know, that's maybe 2 pixels too much skin, you know what I'm saying? I like this though. I'm gonna make the layer for this. The hair looks so good. Yeah, the hair was like the first thing I did. I'm gonna have some hair options we're gonna add like maybe the lo-fi girl like ponytail. But yeah, she reminds me of Deanna for some reason. Scandalous. I know. Isn't this just a scandalous couple of pixels there? Sad you won't be able to do pips with this amount of pixels. I know. The 18+ stream rating. I know. Careful. But yeah, this is Ripley and this is Jonesy. Those are my very trademark infringing alien reference names. We'll come up with our own names eventually. I do want to loosely suggest that this isn't actually a cat, but it's a shapeshifter. I want to have some like crazy like animation smears that make you wonder what this is. I would love to do that. So that when you unlock different forms for your pet, it's not explicitly a different pet. You just like teach it a different form. I would love to do that. These look great. Thanks. Yeah, I keep working on it. I keep working on it. It's actually Odo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe we need a version of this where it's Kira and Odo. Ship it. Everyone ships Kira and Odo. Actually, some people don't. They're kind of weird, but you know, I ship it. I think it's sweet. It's a fun idea. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Because it would also excuse some of the weirdness of this. Some of this, like, is it a cat? Is it a dog? I don't know. What is it? This feels very cat-like, though. This kind of, like, sitting pose. But yeah, I'm pleased. We'll need space mice or something for this thing to chase. We'll need, like, little space mice. Maybe we take a page out of No Jules' book and we do, like, a 2-pixel, like, mouse. It just, like, skitters. Like something like this, maybe. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do for color palette. I'm actually using a different color palette for these two. I've been using Zenit 241 because I have feelings about my own custom palette, and my feelings are I hate it. So I think I'm gonna reconsider using like a pre-made palette. At least for lo-fi. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it. But yeah. What a mouse look like? I don't even know. I need to look like a mouse droid. Maybe it chases mouse droids around. That's my Star Trek or my Star Wars joke. That'd be pretty funny. A mouse droid, I think I kind of know how to draw. Maybe I don't. It's like a little box with wheels, right? But yeah, we keep working on this. I'll show you the ship design soon. But yeah, I'm pleased about focusing on the content. I've already feel like we've gotten some good character out of this, even in just a couple of days, because it's just been a couple of days of ideation. I'm feeling good about working on something concrete instead of only doing systems design. Where are my pre-rolls on? I ran ads. Puppers, yeah, exactly, Vimuse. Yeah, I've been working on a little companion for our main character. For our little lo-fi girl side project we've been working on. I thrive in this kind of low pixel, this low resolution environment. But how's it going, Vimuse? Vimuse is an actual real talented artist and animator. Not like me. Yeah, we're pretty pleased. We've been working on some outfits for our girl here. We'll work on a lot of outfits, a lot of palette swaps, hairstyles. We're gonna be working on a lot. I think our in-universe joke is that this is a shapeshifter. So I'm going to work on some alternate shapes for this. I'd like a bird. I'd like to do a bird version of this creature. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I think we're good. I think that's it for today. There's a few of us here for once. Do we raid out? I don't usually raid unless I've also been raided. We raided Boolean yesterday. Otter's on, Temptic's on. Taboogi's on. Are Taboogi almost done? Oh, they're playing Cave Rim too. Here we go there. Is this separate from the FTL-like? It's part of it. It's like a small subset. We're gonna do it. We're gonna try to do it as like a side project. So like on our roadmap, we have like we're working our way towards our alpha MVP. Slowly, we're almost done with the block editor. We're gonna start working on the simulation and a scenario editor and stuff. But if we do some of this, it unlocks our side project, which is a little like desktop companion, like FTL-like kind of idle game, which is just going to be like a lo-fi girl kind of ambient desktop companion, which will be great for the stream. Imagine me having that running in the opposite corner of the stream. It's going to be excellent. And I want to get a commercial project out in the next couple of years, because this is still many years away, even an MVP, an alpha MVP launch. So we're trying to package it in a way that's like smaller, and also I'm trying to like kickstart actual content work and not just get stuck in tools development hell for another 2 years. A bird version could have limited speech. You're expecting the cat to talk? Oh, you're saying unlike the cat, maybe the bird has some speech? That's a good question. We'll have to see. Commander, you're going to be streaming? Nice. Oh, or quote unquote streaming. You'll be hanging out in the Discord around 6 p.m. Central. Cool, cool. All right, yeah, let's go hang out with Taboogie. I gotta wrap it up. This has been fun, though, as always. I appreciate everyone spending some of their day here with me. We'll be back on tomorrow. More of the same. I guess we'll have to come up with something else to do because those bugs are fixed. But we'll tackle something else. Maybe we'll do some actual planning. Sorry, you missed me at GDC. I missed you. I missed you at GDC, Vimuse. I did not do GDC. I was down there one day. I did not get a ticket. I was so tired after the game jam the weekend before. And I was so fed up with the whole rebrand and pricing structure and everything. I think it ended up okay. So I probably will try to do a more proper GDC next year. So I'm going to try to bring a demo for this game. We have a game plan. Remember the game plan. Everyone keep in mind the game plan. Get a Steam page up as early as possible. Make a game trailer as second early as possible. And then make a demo. We're doing all of this year. It's going to happen. We're going to do it. It's our year. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.